Thanks for joining us tonight. We're getting back into Genesis, and we're going to pick up in Genesis 23. Now, Genesis 23 is where Sarah, Abraham's wife, passes away, and Abraham is now faced with a daunting task of trying to find a burial place for his wife that has just died. And as we start in Genesis 23, we also need to lay down some framework and get some understanding of the geography of where we're at. We're in the city of Hebron. Hebron is also referred to as Kiriath Arba, and it's a Levitical city, so we're going to talk about what is a Levitical city. We're going to talk about the Levites, where the Levites came from, why the tribe of Levi or Levi did not have any land possession in Israel. So let's get into it tonight, and we'll start in Genesis 23 and 1. Sarah lived to be 127 years old. She died in Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan, and Abram went to mourn for Sarah and to weep over her. Well, first of all, Sarah was 127. That would make Abraham 137. And Isaac was born when she was age of 90. So now Isaac is the age of 37. And Ishmael, which was born to Hagar much earlier than that, Abraham's, son through Hagar, he would now be about 51 or 52. And of course we said Abraham would be 137. She died in Kiriath Arba, or Hebron, which is also known as the City of Four. And it's the Jewish tradition that four significant patriarchs are buried there. Abraham and his wife Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah, and they also believe that this was the burying place of Adam and Eve as well. Hence the nickname City of Four. Now, it's a Levitical city, and a Levitical city is a city that was set up by the Lord Himself at Mount Sinai. And let me give you a little bit of the history of this. Apparently Hebron was settled by giants, by the people of Anak and the Anakins. And they were giants in the land. And it gets its name Kiriath Arba because Arba was the forefather of Anak. Anak, the father of the Anakins, which were giants. And Arba conquered the city, and the name was changed to Kiriath Arba. Later on, it was changed back to Hebron, which is the same name as it is today. So what's important about that? Well, it was a city of giants. Giants were there at the time of Abraham as well. And Abraham was living in the midst of giants. And folks, we're living in the midst of giants figuratively. We have giant problems of sickness and disease, giant problems of finances, and perhaps situations in our family. But even though we're living in the midst of giants, God is there to work things out for us that will work eventually for our good. And Hebron is also the place where it was given later by Joshua to Caleb. Remember when the children of Israel came out of the wilderness, came out of Egypt into the wilderness, and shortly into their journey they came to the wilderness of Sin, spelled S-I-N. And there Moses sent out representatives of the 12 tribes, 12 spies, to spy out the land. Well, when the spies came back, 10 of them brought back a bad report, basically telling the children of Israel that we were grasshoppers in the size of these people. They have massive cities, fortified cities, and the people are giants. And there's no way that we can take the land, that we can conquer this. Folks, remember, they had just been brought out of Egypt. They had just walked through the Red Sea. They had been fed manna every day of their life, and God had provided for them But only Joshua and Caleb were the ones that told the tribes, we can make it. Let's go up at once. And it was only Joshua and Caleb that 40 years later after this was able to go into the promised land. For everyone else at the age of 20 and under, or 20 and older, had died in the wilderness. You know, a lot of times we have to look at the bad reports, but at the same time we're getting the bad reports, we have to look at the Lord who is on our side, who is with us through every situation. And may the Lord be with you tonight through whatever situation is going on in your life.